All right, let's talk about habit tracking, but probably not in the way you're used to thinking about it. We're going to forget all about those perfect streaks and that rigid, unforgiving discipline. Instead, we're going to dive into a much more human, much more effective approach to building habits that actually stick.
Does this sound a little too familiar? Yeah, we've all been there. You start a new year, or maybe just a new week, with these amazing intentions. You're going to meditate, you're going to exercise, you're going to read more. And then, life happens. Work gets crazy, you're exhausted, and suddenly those great habits just fizzle out.
So, why? Why does this keep happening? Is it just a lack of willpower? Are we all just bad at this? Well, the research actually suggests something totally different. The real problem, a lot of the time, is the system we're using. We fail because our tracking methods are built to create this cycle of pressure and guilt, and that just makes us want to quit. That's right. The problem isn't the habit, it's how we track it. Think about most traditional trackers. They're so rigid, so unforgiving. They're basically built for robots, not for real, messy, unpredictable human beings. They tell us that success is a perfect, unbroken chain, instead of what it really is, just a pattern of effort over time. But here's the thing. When we change our approach, tracking can be this incredibly powerful tool. It taps directly into how our brains are wired, not for judgment, but to create this really simple, satisfying feedback loop that basically says, hey, that was good, let's do that again. You've probably heard of this classic loop, right? Cue, routine, reward. This is where tracking really shines. That simple little act of ticking a box or filling in a square, that's the reward. It gives your brain this tiny little hit of dopamine that reinforces the behavior and makes you actually want to do it again tomorrow. And look, this isn't just some feel-good theory, it is backed by hard data. A big meta-analysis in 2023 found that the simple act of just monitoring yourself, just paying attention, increases your chances of sticking with something by an average of 27%. That is a massive boost for such a small action. And this leads to what I think is a really powerful shift in thinking. You're not tracking to prove how disciplined you are. You're tracking to reinforce the story of the person you're becoming. Every single time you read one page, you're not just checking a box. You're casting a vote for your identity as a person who reads. Okay, so you're sold on the why. Let's get practical. How in the world do you decide what to track? Well, the number one mistake people make is trying to track like 12 new habits all at once. That is a recipe for burnout. The real secret here is to start small and build that momentum. The magic number is 1 to 3. That's it. Focus on just 1 to 3 keystone habits at a time. These are the small actions, like a quick walk at lunch, that end up creating this positive ripple effect in other areas of your life. Once those feel automatic, then you can think about adding more. This brings us to a concept that is an absolute game changer. It's called defining the floor. This is the absolute, almost laughably easy minimum version of your habit. Your goal isn't to read a whole book this week. It's to read one page. It's not a 30-minute workout. It's one push-up. This makes it pretty much impossible to fail, and that keeps your momentum alive. Need some ideas to get started? Look how simple and doable these are. You could track your water intake, or maybe one focused 25-minute work session. Or what about a super quick gratitude entry, or just a 5-minute stretch? The key is to pick something that gives you energy, not something that drains it. Okay, next up, the tool. The apps, the journals, the calendars. There are so many options out there. But you have to remember, the fanciest tool is not always the best one. The best tracker is the one that fits into your life so easily that you barely even notice you're using it. You've really got two main camps, right? You've got the digital apps and the traditional pen and paper methods. Now, apps are great. They're convenient, they give you reminders, they track all the data. But there's something so satisfying about physically marking a calendar, and it keeps you away from all those phone distractions. There's no right answer here, just what's right for you. So how on earth do you choose? Instead of getting lost scrolling through a million features, let's just use a simple test to find a tool that's actually built for humans, not for robots. First up, is it simple? If it takes you more than, say, 30 seconds to log your habit, you are going to start avoiding it. It has to be effortless. A quick tap, a check mark, and you're done. Any friction at all is going to kill your consistency. Second, is it soft? A good tracker has to be flexible because it understands that life happens. Can you mark a habit as partially done? Does it treat a missed day like neutral information instead of a big red failure?
Your system needs to have some compassion built in.
And finally, is it signal rich? I mean, the goal isn't just to collect a bunch of check marks, it's to actually gain some insight. Can you look back and see patterns? Like maybe you notice you always skip your workout on Tuesdays. Hey, that's not a failure, that's a signal. It's a clue to help you adjust your plan.
And this brings us to the final, and I think the most important section of all. We have to completely redefine what it even means to be consistent. Because it's not about perfection. It's about resilience.
Please, let's just bury this myth once and for all. A broken streak does not mean you failed. It doesn't erase all the work you did before. A missed day is just data. That's it. It's your system giving you feedback. Maybe it's telling you, hey, you were really tired, or this goal might be a little too big right now. You just have to listen to it. This reframes the into your goal. Don't aim for perfect consistency. Aim to stay connected to your intention. See, consistency is fragile. One slip, and it feels broken. But connection is resilient. You can always reconnect, no matter how long it's been.
So how do you stay connected? Well, you could add a symbol for when you only did half, or celebrate the fact that you even opened the journal, even if you only wrote one word. Plan for days off, and when you do fall off, create a tiny 2-minute re-entry ritual to get back on track without any of the guilt. And above all, just give yourself some grace. In the end, your tracker isn't some judge handing down a verdict on your self-worth. It's just a mirror. It's reflecting what is. Some days, it reflects progress, and other days, it reflects that you needed to rest. Both of those are incredibly valuable pieces of information. So let's end with that. When you treat your tracker, not like a boss, but like a mirror for gentle self-awareness, everything changes. It stops being a tool for judgment and it becomes a tool for learning. So the only question left is, what is your mirror telling you today?